Hey, what's up, farming friends? It's me, your old buddy, Mr. Moose, here with a little Farm Sim 17. It's about time, right? I hadn't done any recording videos on it, been doing some live streaming, but today I thought I would jump on here, record a little video for you guys, talk to you a little bit about the dedicated server and some of the new things in Farm Sim 17. So we are here on field number 29. I just purchased this field a little while ago, and what we are doing here is I'm setting this up to be eventually going to be a dedicated grass field for us to cut hay on. But when we purchased it, it had sunflower already growing on it. So we got to do a little fertilization, do a little weed control, all that good stuff, and get it under control. And as you can see, I've already started working on the field a little bit, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to jump on here and do a little quick video, talk about weeding and talk about a little bit of the things that are going on the server and some of the new gameplay features, and just talk Farm Sim 17 for a little bit. So anyways, I'm in the Fent 300. I just purchased two of these for the server. They both have the care tires or row crop tires on them, because we are running crop destruction on this particular server, which means if you drive through the field, you can tear up all the crops unless you're using care tires. And so with care tires on it, we're able to drive through the field, not destroy the crop, and that's good because we have to fertilize the field at least 3 times during the growth stage in order for it to become a healthy, beneficial field, and we get the yield bonus out of it. I don't know if you guys have ever done a whole lot of reading into it, but you know, in Farm Sim 15, you planted the crop and you would get the crop that you planted. If you fertilized it, you got 100% bonus out of the field. Well, in Farm Sim 17, things have changed a little bit. If we look at the map, you'll see that you have soil composition, and you have 3 stages of fertilization plus fields that need to be plowed. Now we're on field number 28 down here. I just purchased it. It had crop in it, so I'm not going to plow it under, so we can ignore the plowing part of it. But you can see that the top portion of the field has a little bit of fertilization happening. It is fertilization stage 1. You can see some of our other fields over here. This is in fertilization stage 2. This one is in stage 3. This one's stage 3. 23 is in stage 3. They're over here harvesting. Cowboy, Undead Legend, and Brian are over here harvesting field number 12. But we just planted 14 not long ago. But okay, you can see that there's 3 different stages of fertilization, right? Each stage of fertilization gives you a 30% growth bonus to your field. So let's say you plant the field, you get 100% growth out of it, and you get that. If you want to get more out of it, you give it a stage of fertilizing. That'll get you to 130%. This will get you to 160. This will get you to 190%. And if before, like I said, if your field shows red on it, if you plow it ahead of time, you get an extra 10% growth bonus out of it. So then you get an extra, altogether, if you did all of it, you get a 200% yield on your crops. So that's the way the fertilization works in the game now. The one thing you have to be careful about, though, is you can only fertilize during certain growth stages. When you first plant your growth out, you're going to have a barren field that is planted and ready to go. You can fertilize when you plant because now the seeders not only take fertilizer, but they also take seed. So you can put seed and fertilizing down at the exact same time. You just have to make sure that you have seed and fertilizer in your seeder. But you can also fertilize the field ahead of time and only seed it if you want to. We did that the other day on a couple of times. But for the most part, I think most people are going to put fertilizer and seed into their seeder and do all that in one application. Heck, that's the way we do it on our fields here. We do pre-treat the field with a little bit of fertilizer, but then when we seed, we also seed and side dress it with a little fertilizer as well. So, but in this case, for the game purposes, you're going to seed when you sow in. So that's going to happen when you sow in, and you'll have your first stage of fertilizer most likely when you seed. When you get into this light green growth stage or growth stage 1 and you start to see some vegetation, you have 2 options. You can fertilize here, Or you can do some weeding. Weeding will get rid of, it does what is a mechanical cultivation of the field. It goes in, it breaks, in real life, it goes in, breaks up the top layer of soil in between your vegetation. So in your row, it just kind of goes through and combs the row, breaks up the top part of the soil, disturbs the roots of the weeds and kills off the weeds. And that is mechanical weed control, and that's the way you do it in real life. Well, in the game, they're simulating that with what they call weeding, and that also counts as one stage of fertilization, which is what I'm doing today. I've got the weeder on here, and I'm going to go through the crops, and as I go through, it's going to do the weeding, and it is going to count as a fertilization step. So you can see the difference in the field where I've already weeded a little bit is dark, and the field where I haven't done it is light. So that's the difference in what you're doing. So it does show like you've put down some fertilizer or whatever, even though you really haven't. But that's the weeding process, and that's what we're going to be doing in the video as soon as I finish this long-winded explanation, right? But you can only do one application per growth stage. So you have 4 growth stages, and you can see the different colors of the fields here on our screen. This field is the lightest color there is. It is in stage 1. This one is stage 2. This one is, these are in stage, I guess these are in stage 4 of their growth. They're almost done and almost ready to grow. So this one is in stage 1, stage 2-ish. It has, I would say this is more of this here, stage 2. And it now has the vegetation up, which is what allows us to weed. The only time you can weed is between the first and second stage, when you actually have the vegetation grown up. After this stage, you can't, and the growth gets a little bit taller, you can't weed. So this is the only time you can weed. And to me, it's like free fertilizing. You just got to comb through here, break up the weeds, and you don't have to spend any money on fertilizer. And then you can do your final, after you get into your last growth stage, you can put your last coat of fertilizer on it as a liquid spray or whatever, and you get that last coat of fertilizer in. So you got to do 3 applications of fertilizer. You can only do 1 application per growth state. So each time the color of the field changes, you can put fertilizer on it. And a total of 3 will give you 90% yield bonus. If you plow ahead of time, you get a 10% yield bonus. So hope that information helps you guys out a little bit with your game. If you do download the crop destruction mod, you'll want to use row crop tires on your, or care tires on your tractor. Otherwise, you will put tram lines through your field. I wish they would simulate a little bit of tram line with the row tires on it, but they don't. It doesn't actually show anything. But the crop destruction is real if you run a regular tractor through the field, and we can probably show you some of that a little bit later in the video, because someone last night just drove a semi straight through the middle of the field, and yeah, that wasn't good. That irked my wrath, and that person is no longer welcome on my server. So I do have Track IR installed, which is how I'm doing all of my head movement. Track IR has a reset switch built into the game, so it resets your view for each tractor. It's good to have that key bound to your tractor, so that you can, or to something on a keyboard or joystick, so that you can reset that easily. Because sometimes you get in a tractor and you'll get a messed up view, like you'll be looking out the back of it and don't know why. And it's nice to be able to just snap that read look or that look right on in there. So yeah, it's nice to have that. That's probably one of the biggest things about FS17 that I really like, is that. So anyways, let's get to doing a little weeding and a little fertilizing. The weeding is pretty simple. You have 2 different attachments that you can use for weeding. If we jump in the store real quick, I'll show those for you. 2 different weeders. Both are the Inbrock or Inbach or Inbook. I don't know how that is pronounced, but you've got the Aerostar rotation. This one is 12 meters. This one is 9 meters. And I believe we have the 12-meter version is the one that we purchased. Yeah, we purchased the 12-meter version. This is the 9-meter version. And This one looks like it seeds at the same time. Maybe this one does grass and cover crop, it looks like. Weed puller pulls out between small grown crops, improves the field state, can only be used in the first growth stages of crops. So that gives you a little bit of info on it. But this is the one that we're using here. I haven't messed with this one. Someone was asking me about that one. I will get it and mess around with it and be able to tell you guys a little bit more about it. But we're just using the standard weeder here, and we're using it in the field. Pretty simple to use. You run into the field, get lined up, go ahead and drop it down, and you just start driving through the field. And as you do, it will do its weeding process. There's a little bit of an animation on it, but for the most part, the way you know it's working is the color your field behind your tractor is going to change to a darker brown wet look, and that's the way you know you're actually accomplishing something. I'll spin around here so you guys can see it from the back. There's a little bit of a dust animation to it. You can see the little headers spinning around and moving. Yeah, a little bit of dust coming up in the air, like it's actually working. We'll speed up a little bit. Jumping cab, I'm going to do it from in cab for the most part. And I love, like I said, I love track IR being in the game, because now I can just sit here and I can look down out the window. I can kind of move my head over to the side, make sure that my wheel is tracking in the row. And with the row crop tires, I'm able to stay right in the row. And who needs GPS when you got a row and that you can just follow the row, right? And we can just go down the field here, do our fertilization, and all is good. So that's what I'm working on today, is getting this field a fertilization step so we can go. And that's what we're going to be working on while we talk about a few other things here in the video today. So I do want to talk a little bit about the dedicated server. It's up and running, and you guys are more than welcome to come in and join us and play with us on here. So when I fertilize on this, I'm looking for 5 rows off of the dark side. So if I go over and count 3, 4, 5, my turn in is right there where that post is. If I line my front wheel up in this furrow right here, or in this row right here, and then I go outside and check, I should be just about, I got a little bit of overhang, which is fine. I don't worry about the overhang, but that gives me good coverage there, and I should be just fine with going and moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead. That looks good. Got my tool lowered down. And I'm going to go ahead and run on through here. Alright, so, but anyways, dedicated server wise, the mods on the dedicated server are pretty simple. There's only like 5 or 6 on here. Crop Destruction's one of them. We got the Fent Harvester Pack on here, as well as, let me think about them for a second. The Fent Harvester Pack's on here, that's on here. And there's one other one that I got from the mod hub, and I can't even think about that, what it is. Yeah, I'm drawing a complete blank. I also added Drive Control. The new version of Drive Control is out, which I was really shocked. Yesterday I had talked about, I didn't think anything from Upside Down would be out, because the word I had heard is he was working on cattle and crops, and so I really didn't expect that to be out. But the new version of Drive Control is out, as well as Fast Forward Time, so that is on the server as well. So all of those mods can be downloaded directly from the server using a link that is on the mod spreadsheet. And so to get on the server, you do need to just visit there. You can get all the mods at one place, download them, and you'll be good to go. Alright, so I need to come over 5 rows. I think that is right here. It's a little shallow, isn't it? Let me back up, because that's only like 3 rows. Back up so I can actually see the whole thing out of the windshield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I was in the right place. So if I pull right here, drop my implement down, and look at what I got. It looks like it's matched up. It is matched up. We are good to go. There we go. The spreading on Giants rows isn't perfect. If we look right now and we spin around, I'm in the furrow on the right of the tractor, right? But I'm driving through some of the crop over on the other side. They didn't get it completely right. Even if I bring the tractor over a little bit, it's still off just a bit. But they've done okay with it. Their spacing's a little off. So, but anyways, all the mods are available. So if you go to the link that is in the show notes that says server and mod info, that will take you to a spreadsheet that just gives you some rules, tells you what I expect of you on the server, and it gives you a link straight to the server. There's no login or password required. It gives you a link. You can download the mods, download them, put them in your mods folder, and then launch the game. You should be good to go. And you can join the server. Server login is on there. The name of the server is Mr. Moose Farming. The password is on the mod spreadsheet. I'm not going to tell you what it is in this video because I want you to go to the spreadsheet and read the rules. And that way, when I kick you off the server for not following the rules, you can't say, well, I didn't know that was a rule. Well, you got the password off of the spreadsheet. If you didn't bother to read the rules, it's not my fault, okay? I do take my farming a bit more serious than most people do, okay? I'm on here to farm in a realistic manner and have fun doing it. And I think that's why most of you guys come on here to play. That should be the reason you come onto this server to play, is because you want to play with people with a like mindset that want to play farm sim in a realistic manner. If you're on here to goof off and screw around, then this isn't the server for you. If you're on here and you want to drive through the fields and take shortcuts to get back to the farm, this is not the server for you. If your idea of getting equipment back to the farm is loading, taking a semi with a trailer on the back of it with a lowboy and putting one tractor on the front of the lowboy and putting another tractor with a trailer hanging off the back of it off of the lowboy, and then trying to drag that whole apparatus back to the farm instead of making 2 trips, this is not the server for you. Okay, I don't really tolerate horseplay on the server, and you know what, if you've got 2 tractors out in the field and you need to get them back to the farm, take the time to drive them back. It's not that hard. It's not like it's going to kill you to spend an extra 2 minutes to drive a field. It's not like it takes an hour to drive a tractor from the field back to the farm. It takes 2 minutes. So if you don't have 2 minutes to spare, then you probably should rethink some things. All right, I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just the way it is. I do expect all the equipment to be returned back to where it is. So if you log on the server and equipment is in a specific spot, return it back to that specific spot. That way it's easy to find. Last night, Cowboy and I had a real good laugh because everybody was running around like, you know, chickens with their heads cut off, trying to find the bale stacker when it was sitting at the main farm right where we put it. But it wasn't where they left it, so they couldn't find it and they didn't know where it was. And we had a real good laugh at that because we put it where it was supposed to be, and they couldn't find it because it wasn't where they just left it. And yeah, I'm not one for equipment to be left. Put it when you're finished with it, put it up. And that includes everything, you know. You're not the only person on the server. There's other people on the server and they might have needs for things other than you. So put it, when you're finished with it, put it back where you got it from, and put it up. It's just a courtesy thing, right? I'm not I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be anal. It's just a courtesy thing to other people, so when they log on and they go to do a specific task, they know that if they need that piece of equipment, that's where it's at and they can go get it. And with that said, I'm going to move all of the grass cutting equipment over here to field 28. There's a little equipment shed over here, so I'm going to store the mower, the baling equipment, Well, the mower, the tedder, the windrower, and probably the baler all will be stored over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right there. Gonna roll in here, match up with this row right here. There we go. Pull in, lower that down, and back up just a little bit because I am in the wrong spot. There we go. Drop that down. There we go. All right. So yeah, just help me out with that. It helps everybody out, including yourself when you get on and you don't, need to know where stuff is. There are 2 tractors. Like I said, I bought 2 Fendt 300s today. I put row crop tires on them. Those are meant to be, or care tires. Those are meant to be the tractors that you use for fertilization. So if you're doing a task and you're picking up a tractor to go out and do it, don't take the one with the row crop tires if you're just going out to plow or something else like that, which they're seriously underpowered. So I don't know why you would try to plow with them, but again, just keep that in mind. The row crop tires are meant for doing things in the field that won't destroy the crop in the field. So leave those for people who are spraying the fields, doing the fertilization. Okay. There's a couple of plows. There are a couple of cultivators. I haven't bought the biggest equipment. I want you guys to work through and grow. So we'll start with smaller equipment, work together, get things done, like plowing. Try to gang plow, work together to get it done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I'm going in right here. That's good. Drop that down. There we go. Work together to accomplish the task. And that brings up the other thing. Yesterday, I accidentally left the helper turned on the server, and people were able to do hired help. This is multiplayer. Multiplayer, and the point of multiplayer is to work together to get tasks done. And if you want to hire help to fertilize the field, go play single player. If you don't want to fertilize the field, then log off and let somebody else fertilize the field. But multiplayer is meant for multiplayer, and the tasks in multiplayer need to be done by the player and not hired help. So hired help's been turned off, and we shouldn't have that problem anymore. But I couldn't believe when I got on and people were standing around not doing anything, they actually had hired help to do the fertilization, and that's just stupid in my mind. So the point of playing Farm Sim in multiplayer is to work with other people and do the jobs, not hire help to do it. So what else? I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, field 28, as soon as if I'm not on when it becomes time to harvest it and then return it, but turn it into a grass field. It needs to be planted as grass and nothing else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be turning in here, right? There we go. Drop that implement down. Am I a little bit wide? Oh, I think I'm a little wide here. Let me look. Let me look. I might have misgauged that. I did. I misgauged it by just a little bit, but it looks like it's going to let me get away with it. You know what? Let's not risk it. Let's raise that up. Let's put her into reverse. Back up. Then we'll come back over one row. There we go. And that will be perfect right there. Right? There we go. That's the way to do it. So, go ahead and do this from third party look. Drive control is on the server now. So, I think I just drifted over a little bit. I do better in cab now than I do in third person. It's easier for me to just follow along in cab than it is in third person, I think. Drive control is on the server. If you come on and if you look over where, synchronizing. I didn't lock the server down. I'm just playing with it as it is. If you come on, if you jump in a tractor and you see the little green arrow that is over by the speed indicator, so by the speedometer you see we're going 11 miles an hour, and in the upper left hand corner there is a green arrow that is pointing forward. That is what gear the tractor is in as far as being in forward or reverse. You change that by hitting the space bar. So drive control is enabled. If you hit the space bar, that is going to shift it in reverse. So if I do that right about, let me get that up. If I go forward and then hit the space bar, it puts it in reverse. You see the backup lights come on, and I can just use the same W key to back up now. And if I hit W, if I hit it again, hit W again, I go forward. So that's shuttle mode enabled on this particular tractor. If you don't like shuttle mode, if you prefer to drive with W and S and just use S to back up and you don't want shuttle mode turned on, in order to get rid of that, you need to hold the space bar down for about 10 seconds. That little green arrow will disappear, and then it is back to the default way of driving, just the way you do in stock farm sim. I prefer the shuttle mode because I drive with my G27 on, so I prefer to have it on there. So I usually will drive all my tractors with shuttle mode on. But if you are like me, you like shuttle mode, and you get in a tractor and it doesn't have shuttle mode enabled, that's how you enable shuttle mode as well. So just to pass that on to everybody, because I know not everybody has used drive control and not everybody is a fan of drive control. Not everybody is a fan of shuttle mode, so but it adds it in. I was really interested. A lot of stuff has been taken out of drive control, rightly so, because it's been added into the game. So he's taken out crop destruction, he's taken out the manual ignition. A lot of it has been taken out. It is just the essentials. You can still do your four-wheel drive. You can still do enabling, like I've got it set up where I can do add four-wheel drive in. You see it adds a little icon next to my fuel canister. So if you look at the fuel pump, you'll see a little green tractor show up. That enables four-wheel drive. If I do it again, it puts a little yellow tractor up. That is locking in my front differential. And if I do it again, that locks in the rear differential and shows one more little yellow tractor. So that is drive control, and those are enabled by using shift 4, 5, and 6. I don't want that radio. There's a little conflict. That's the reason I hotkey all of my stuff. Yeah, so you might have to add some stuff in so you can get your differentials locked in, because it turns the radio on. And I'll have to edit that out so I don't get a copyright strike. I don't use the radio. People have asked me about the radio. They've been like, Moose, what do you think about the online radio? Honestly, I don't use it because most of the stuff I do is on YouTube, and I can't afford to have the copyright strike. Otherwise, my video get flagged. So I don't use any of that stuff. But some people are digging it. Some people are listening to it all the time. And when I'm playing just casually, and I start just casually playing some, I will probably enable it just to see how it works and what's on there and all that stuff. But I haven't taken the time to mess with it because literally I got the game, installed it, and jumped right in and started streaming. And that was one of the things I wanted to avoid, so I didn't get any copyright strikes on my YouTube channel. But I'm working on that. I'm working on getting a little bit more relaxed. So, yeah, I'll go over more and more of the stuff as I start playing single player and messing around with some things on my own and playing with some things. So one of the things we learned last night also on the server, there's a glitch. If you guys run a dedicated server, there is a glitch in multiplayer. And that glitch is the admin's money does not update on multiplayer. So as you guys see, I have $250,000 in the account right now, so that I could buy some more fields and get this thing updated for you guys to play on. and get row crop tires on some things and stuff like that. One of the issues we had last night was we ran out of money because we didn't know what was going on and the money wasn't updating. And even so, today we found an issue with the game where the money is different depending on who's looking at it. Short got on this morning, played for a little bit on the server until it was 6:41 in the morning, and at the time he logged off, we had we were $20,000 in the hole, right? We had a negative balance of $20,000. I logged in and the server time was 9 a.m. We showed a complete profit for the day on the ledger of $20,000 or $22,000, but we were in the hole $80,000. I saved the game, logged off the server, and then downloaded the saved game file so that I could put some money in so that we could fix the rest of the farm up and get all the equipment and everything situated for multiplayer. And when I opened up the XML file for the game save, we had $2,251. So there's really something seriously messed up with the finances in multiplayer because some of the numbers just aren't updating, and then the ones that do update don't jive. It's interesting. All right, one last row to do, and then we'll be done with weeding this field. And it will be nice and light blue and showing that it has been fertilized. So yeah, that's a little glitch. I talked a little bit in the live streams about the Ponzi Buffalo and the Ponzi Scorpion. The controls on them aren't the same, which is really frustrating. You would think those two pieces of equipment are the exact same piece of equipment for the most part, and that the controls on them would be the same, and they're not. The lower arm is reversed between the two of them. So on one piece of equipment, if you push the joystick forward to make the arm go down, it makes the arm go down, and on the other one, it makes the arm go up. Really frustrating. It does a number on your brain. Because your brain's thinking, okay, well, the move that we just did on the Buffalo was push the joystick down to make that arm go down, and when you do it on the Scorpion, it makes the arm go fly up in the air, and you're like, what? Why did it do that? All right, let's fold that up. Pretty neat little animation here. We'll watch it as this thing packs itself up to be transported. Very nice. And if we open up our menu, we'll now see that field 28 is going to be a nice light blue. If we go into the soil composition, we'll click off needs plowed because we don't need to plow it. And you'll see that now it is showing that it is one state of fertilization. If we go back over to the growth manager, it's still in its initial growth state, which I'm guessing is this color right here. And now we're good to go on that. So you're also going to notice too in multiplayer, the field states all around the map are going to change constantly. That has to do with the mission system that is in the game. If you've played on single player, there's missions at every field that you can do where you can go harvest a field for somebody and earn some money doing that. Well, because of that, because the missions are constantly rolling, the fields are constantly changing. For example, field 25, when I loaded in the game brand new, was a cornfield. If we look at it right now, it's a soybean field. Last night, when I logged on to get ready to do the live stream at 6 o'clock last night, that field was harvested and it was just stubble. Now it's actually planted in soybean, and that is in its initial growth state and growing. So it's going to wig your brain out a little bit, and you're going to think, especially like if you're thinking, well, this field's in corn, what we'll do is we'll work through, and as soon as we get enough money, we'll go buy that cornfield and harvest the corn out of it. That probably won't be corn by the time that you do it. It kind of baffled my mind a little bit that is happening, but it is kind of cool that the whole map isn't just stagnant, and if you had crop withering on, everything would die in the field. It's kind of cool to see that these are actively working in the background while you're playing the game. So pretty cool little feature. So that field is taken care of. So we can head back to the farm and we can put this thing up. So let me go ahead and turn the flashers on because we are going to be driving on the highway. The 300 doesn't have beacons on it. It only has flashers, which is more of a US thing anyways. So since we're playing on a US theme map, it's kind of cool. Because like I said, a lot of my tractors don't have beacons. So I never turn them on when I'm on the highway. I turn the flashers on. But then again, I mean, that's a courtesy thing. The only thing in the United States that you have to have on the back of your tractor is a slow moving vehicles plaque, which is a little triangle thing. And yeah. So let me go through a couple of things here on the farm so you guys know where things are at. This is the dairy area, and we've started stacking bales here. I've got some straw bales over here on the left. There's a whole bunch of grass bales over here on the right where we stacked grass bales over here yesterday. I separated them not only for aesthetic reasons, just because let's keep the straw over here and the grass over here, but also because in my past, if you put too many bales together, you start to have you'll start to lose frame rates if you have too many bales in one place. Hopefully with the optimization that they've done on the game so far, you're not going to have those issues. And we'll just, you know, like, I'm going to push the server and see what issues we end up finding so that we know in the future what to do and what not to do. But we got grass here. For you guys who play on the server, no more direct baling of grass. We did it last night. But from now on, everything needs to be tedded, because I have a sneaky suspicion. Before we had the bale extension mod, and you were able to bale anything that you wanted to bale, and you were able to use anything that you wanted to do. But we don't have the bale extension mod on anymore. We do have the we just have straight game, and I have a sneaky suspicion that to make TMR, you're going to need hay instead of grass bales. I could be wrong on that, but I did go ahead and buy a tedder. So let's just ted all the grass before it gets baled. I know it adds an additional step in, but also if you got a whole lot of people on the server playing, it won't matter because you have plenty of people to take care of the work and do that. So this is where I'm going to put all of the grass equipment is going to be stored at this particular shed here. I don't want tractors stored over here. I want all the tractors stored at the main farm. I know that means, oh, I gotta drive all clear across the map. Again, it takes about a minute to get over here and get a piece of equipment. But we'll put the later on today, I'll get the guys on the server to go ahead and move the balers and everything over to this field. And this is where we're going to store all the grass equipment, the mower, the tedder, the windrower, all that stuff is going to be in one place. So we'll get all that over here and get that situated, and yeah, we should be good. And for now, you'll have to bring a front loader over here when you need to actually do baling. But for now, I'd like to leave the equipment where it's at. I might move a front loader over here. If it's been moved over, it's because I put it over here. I do have at the shop, since this is the first recorded video we're doing, let's go ahead and go up to the shop real quick. And we'll come to a stop here. Let traffic go. They should have to stop for that stop sign. They don't. Yeah, the AI doesn't ignore traffic signals, but you should. But we're back up here at the shop, and I'll show you guys what I've done with the shop and why it is the way it is. There's OJ Simpson going by. Alright, so over here at the shop, I do have a skid steer here sitting at the shop in the parking spot over here. This is not our skid steer. This is the shop's skid steer, because I did this for a specific reason. Anytime you have to buy seed in this game, you've got to pick it up here. A seed, anything that's got to be loaded up has to be picked up here at this facility and then transferred over to the farm. So we need something here constantly to be able to load the trailers up with, and that's why this skid steer is here. It is not to be taken over to the farm and used on the farm for any other purposes, because it won't get returned over here. I know how it is. So just ignore that this thing even exists. It is here to be used just to load trailers with seed and stuff like that. Eventually there will be a lot of seed and fertilizer just sitting over here. My plan is, because you constantly are going to need seed, fertilizer, and stuff like that, talking to the admins, we're going to make sure that we keep plenty of seed at the farm. But if there's a situation where we may be off for a day or something and not on here, we're going to load some extra seed and fertilizer over here, and it will be the responsibility of the people playing the game. For you guys coming on here, it'll be your responsibility to make sure the seed and fertilizer gets over to the farm and gets put in its proper place. It's our responsibility to make sure that the seed and the fertilizer is available for you to play with. So, but that skid steer, it stays up here at all times. It is here specifically so when it comes time for you to come get seed or fertilizer, that there's a way to load up the trailer. Let's just leave that there. Just don't take it down to the dairy barn and start moving bales with it. I know how y'all think, so I will say it now, but I will find it sitting at the dairy barn eventually. All right, so we'll head back around. We'll head over to the farm real quick. Do love having track R in the game. It's track IR. I have to pronounce that a little bit better. I'm shocked at how many people have never heard of track IR. As we have been doing the live streams, a lot of people keep saying, what is track IR? What is track IR? I'm shocked that people don't know what it is. It is a head tracking software that has a little camera that mounts on your monitor, and you have a little reflector that either goes on a baseball cap or a little IR headset that goes onto your clips on the side of your headphones, and the camera tracks the reflective, either the little reflective or the little infrared lights. It tracks where they move and associates that with your head, and then that also moves your view in game, so that if I turn my head to the left, my in-game view turns to the left. If I turn my head to the right, it turns my head to the right. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say track IR, that is what track IR is. All right, so we can turn in here to the field. We don't have to have our hazards on anymore because we are now on our property, and we'll make our way in. So this field's just been planted. It is in its initial growth state, and it has one application of fertilizer on it, as we can see from the map here. We're right here on 14, and as I show you, the growth state is in the first individual growth state, so it is light green. When it goes to this green, we'll see some vegetation pop up in it, and that will be our time to take the weeder and run the weeder through it and give its next growth state. We'll get it up to this blue here, and or actually we'll get it to this blue. So it looks like Cowboy went and put another coat of fertilizer on there. So yeah, we'll get this one as soon as vegetation shows up. We'll weed it, and then we'll get that last fertilizer state put on there. So we should be in good shape with it. I love all the little creaks of the tractors. Like, sounds like you can hear the springs and everything on your seat moving around when you make turns and stuff. I thought those are great little additions to the game. Sound effects. We've got sugar beets on the ground here, and I'll tell you what we did as far as gameplay. We put the sugar beets in here on the ground. Now if you want to have track of your sugar beets, you can take them over to the train station and put them in there, and it will actually hold the sugar beets for you there, and you'll see them listed in your inventory of things you're tracking. But we were wanting to put them over here, and initially I thought, well, they don't have a dedicated spot for sugar beets and potatoes, because now in the game you can put them anywhere. So we just put them in a bunker. And maybe once we get a whole bunch of them up, we'll take them over to the train station, put them there. But you can store them at the train station for your potatoes and your sugar beets. Yeah, all right, so those guys have been plowing a little bit. I'm keeping most of the implements up over here, and then I want to keep the tractors and everything stored at the farmyard. So that's the reason I'm coming over here to put stuff up. All right, let's see if I can back in here real quick. But yeah, the implements are over here. That Flegel trailer was left there last night by somebody who's no longer on the server, and I'll get it moved back to where it actually goes here in just a little bit. Actually, that thing will probably go over to the dairy area and be stored over there. I'm thinking about also picking up that Brantner. If you look in the mod section, so here's what happens when you drive through the field. If you get out and you drive through the field willy-nilly and you're just messing around, you destroy half of the field. And when the fields are small anyways, and some of the crops are getting destroyed by tram lines and people driving through them, the work that people are putting in for the money goes down because half of the field gets. And so if I catch you driving through the fields, you're gone from the server. And I'm just going to tell you that now. If you drive through the fields, and there's no excuse for it, there's no accidental, the server's not lagging out like it did when we were playing before. We don't have those issues anymore. They're gone. The servers don't lag. The performance on them, y'all haven't seen me lag out one time during this video. There's no lag issues, so don't use that excuse anymore to me. Oh, well, the server lagged out, and that's the reason I drove off. No, it doesn't fly anymore. If you drive through a field, regardless of what its growth state is, I don't care if it's showing vegetation or not, if I see you drive through a field or an admin sees you drive through a field, you're off the server. And we're not going to tell you why. We're just going to kick you and bang you. I'm not even... You've been warned. That's just the way it is. I'm going to tell you right now, watching this video, if you are on the server and you've taken the time to get the password and you log into the server, I will assume at that point you've read the rules. And with the rules read, if you mess up, I don't have to tell you why you messed up. I'll just boot you off the server. We need to stack these up differently. I'm going to move this one forward so we can stack both of the fence. These are the 700s. So I'll line the two 700s up and put them together. And then that way I can put the 300s front to back, and whenever, and that way if somebody needs a 700, they can pull a 700 out. If somebody needs a 300, they can pull a 300 out. We'll probably go and reorganize a little bit, make a little bit more room here on the server for everything. But for right now, this is the way we'll set everything up. I haven't bothered buying a whole lot of weights either, because it doesn't seem like you really need them right now. But we'll probably get some more weights and put them in. Alright, so we'll put our little 300 in here. Back her in. That's good. Alright, so that one is stored. Why are the backup lights on it? Let's see. Cool. Somebody's watching too much Daggerwind. That's not the way you store a, that's not the way you store a pallet fork. I'm just going to tell you guys that. When you store hydraulic equipment, you always put your hydraulics down. You take the weight off of them so that there's no pressure on them. So you set them all the way to the ground, set your implement flat so people can walk over it. If they're too stupid to trip over it, that's just the way they are. But on our farms, we never store equipment with the hydraulics with pressure on them. You always put them down so you don't have pressure on them. All right, so that's done. Where did I see backup lights at? It's this one. You get the backup lights off of that one too. All right, so anyways, I've been messing around playing with beacons and flashers on the server. You guys are more than welcome to right now. Let's stress the servers out as much as you want to, and let's see if how they handle with lights and everything on while you're on the servers, because I want to see what they do. I want to see the performance and see how they perform with the things like that on there. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I do encourage you guys to jump on the server. Come on and play with us anytime you want. We do welcome you guys, and this is going to be pretty much an ag-only server. I may do some forestry every once in a while on it, but this is an ag-only server for the most part. I just, we'll see how performance goes. You know, I just say it right out. My experiences have been really bad with giving people the ability to do farming or to do forestry. If I put it on here, nobody will do any agriculture and there will be no trees left on the server. And that's not what I want. I want an agriculture server. So it's an ag server with, sometimes we'll buy a Ponzi and we'll go do a little bit of group forestry like we did on Graceland. But for the most part, this is an ag server, and I want to do agriculture on it. So anyways, treat everybody with respect when you're on the server. Any complaints will be met with swift action. If you're on here being a jerk and somebody tells me and I've got to log on the server to resolve it, it's probably going to end up with you getting kicked off. I mean, if I got to take my time to come babysit you, I'm probably just going to kick you off the server, because I just want everybody to have fun, play, respect one another, and just follow the rules and have fun. It shouldn't be, I don't ask too much of you. It shouldn't be too hard to do stuff. So, all right, with that said, have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye, guys.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even sharing it with your friends. It does help me out a tremendous amount and is greatly appreciated. Also, leave some comments down below. That's really the only way I can gauge if you guys are enjoying what's being put out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want daily notifications. I try to do a new video each and every day. Also, if you want to stay in touch with me and find out what's going on, our social links are down in the bottom left-hand corner. Twitter is where I usually announce schedule changes, live streams, and new video releases. Facebook's a great way to get in touch with me if you have any questions to ask. And of course, I am trying to get to 1,000 followers on Google+, which I know I'll probably be old and gray before that happens. But if you can jump over there and follow me, it would be super awesome. So if you like today's video, there's a whole lot more content on the channel. I hope you'll browse through it, find something to keep yourself entertained until the next video or live stream. Speaking of live streams, I try to do them nightly around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next time, thanks again for watching. See you soon.